So this week, we're taking a look at Shopping Mall. Now, I've got so many versions of this because I kept getting sent the wrong disc. I did watch this one as a kid, and I remember enjoying it, so let's see if it's any good. Shopping Mall is a 1986 American sci-fi horror film directed by Jim Wynorski. Wynorski has been involved in over 100 exploitation films over the past 25 years, most being direct-to-DVD porn films. So the film begins with some guy stealing some jewellery, but a robot appears to stop him. They run through some product placement and the robot eventually shoots tasers out and electrocutes him. It turns out this was on an example video at a conference where a shopping mall is announcing new robot security. They say that the robots are designed to stop thieves and then alert the police without killing. A couple on the front row, who are apparently characters in something else, annoyingly take the piss and argue. We then jump into the titles with some sped up footage and some child covered in shit. We then meet two of our main characters, Susan and Allison, who are waitresses at a pizzeria owned by a stereotype.
You're breaking my heart. Menage America, porca miseria.
They talk about going to a party after work. Allison is nervous as she won't know anyone, and Susan is hooking her up.
Waitress, more butter.
We then cut over to the robot control room, where the maintenance man who looks a little like David Byrne is hanging out. Some lightning strikes a box, and the robots turn on and kill him. We then meet more of our main characters, the geeky Ferdy, the cool guy Greg, and the cocky guy Michael.
He ain't gonna know diddly unless you tell him. And you ain't gonna tell him, are ya?
They're all apparently the ones holding the party, and they're having it in the mall after it's closed. We also learn here that Allison is being set up with Ferdy, and that Susan and Greg are a couple, as are Michael and a girl called Leslie, who we'll meet later. Outside, a couple's car has broken down. These are two more of our main characters, Linda and Rick. They fix their car and head off to the party. We meet Leslie and her disapproving dad, and Allison is fretting about the party still. Over at the maintenance booth, and the next guy walks in for his shift. The body of the first guard is gone, and the guy gets killed by a robot. The party is underway with some shitty dancing. Ferdy and Allison get introduced and seem to like each other. The robots are out and about now, and just listen to them. They're so loud, you'd definitely be able to hear one of these coming. Back to the party and people are getting frisky, and we get a slightly creepy striptease. 30 and Allison are watching a horror film and seem to be hitting it off whilst being charmingly awkward. A janitor is getting to work. This is Dick Miller playing his reoccurring character Walter Paisley. This character's appeared in over 7 films and weirdly it's in this one. Anyway, a robot comes along and kicks over a bucket and it then electrocutes Walter. I really like the effect, it's old fashioned but looks cool. After a comedy transition,
Smoking's bad for your health.
Leslie forces Michael to go out into the mall to get her some cigarettes.
Why?
He agrees, but a robot appears.
Jeez, you little bastards are quiet.
No, they're not. He does a The Day the Earth Stood Still reference,
Watu, Barada, Niktu, okay?
and then gets killed. Leslie goes looking for him, but finds him dead. She screams and runs, but a robot blows her head off. The gang sees this and panic. The robot bursts in through the glass, so they all run into a storage room and all the exits lock down. They try to get into the vents while the robots plant some explosives. The girls manage to make it into the vents before the robots blow their way in, but the guys don't, so they run to go get weapons while the girls crawl to get out. The guys shoot a gun to draw the attention of one of the robots and it works, so they throw a gas canister underneath it and blow it up. Also, that robot has horrible aim, and apparently bleeds.
Jesus. What's that?
Robot blood.
Susan is concerned for the guys, so they drop out of the vents and grab some flares and molotovs while the guys are faffing with an elevator. The blown up robot stands back up and the girls come running with the robot chasing them. They light their molotov, but it doesn't do much, and Susan gets shot and blown up. They run and a robot gets in an elevator, which just looks silly to me. They shoot a gas canister on top of the elevator and it explodes, destroying the robot. They all go to the pizza place to wait it out, but Greg's upset. Ferdy has an idea to go to the maintenance room and destroy the computer, so they all set off, but Greg is too hasty and gets thrown off a balcony. They get into a shop via a shutter. The robots kind of look at each other, and then one of them laser cuts through it. The gang decide to use mannequins as decoys, and when the robot finally cuts through, the decoys work. And the robot gets all electrified. Not sure why. I think maybe one of the lasers bounces back at it. Linda gets hit, and Rick appears on a cart, but gets smacked, electrocuted, and then explodes. Only Allison and Ferdy left now. They decide to split up, but Allison pretty much immediately gets in trouble. Ferdy comes to the rescue and throws a canister at the robot, which just throws it back at him. Again, I found this bit really silly for some reason. It knocks Ferdy to the floor and he bleeds out the back of his head. We get a huge chase now. Allison hides in a pet shop and has tarantulas and snakes crawling on her. She then hangs off a ledge to hide, but loses her grip and luckily falls onto a tent unharmed. Metal Gear Allison. She then runs into a paint shop and throws paint and spirits all over the floor. The robot enters and she throws a flare onto the paint and explodes it. Turns out Ferdy's okay, they hug and the film ends. So, what did I think? I really enjoyed it, it was a lot of fun. It was paced quite well and we actually had some character development this time, meaning that when the characters started getting killed, I actually kinda cared. Some of the shots were quite cool too. The music was very 80s, which is fun, and the acting was that sort of 80s cheesy, and it made it all quite charming really. It's quite a short film, only coming in at 1 hour 16 minutes, meaning that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Now for the release. Again, the aspect ratio is fine, but the print is terrible. Blurry and very low quality. The audio's okay though. I mean, it doesn't affect the film that much, but a cleaner copy would have been nice. And again, before the film we get the Dead of Night logo. Wonder how long they're going to keep that one up for. And the menus before the film again, and spelling error free this time. There's very little to say about the case. The description's worded a little weirdly and it keeps capitalising shopping mall. But apart from that, it's fine. The runtime though, this might be the worst one yet. 14 minutes wrong. That's a lot of time to get wrong. Again, it says we get no special features, but we do. We get another image gallery. Now, as I said at the beginning, I have been sent 2 other copies of this film, where the case was Dead of Night but the disc was Beyond Terror. I was curious and wondered how the versions differed. It doesn't. It's exactly the same, and it even has that stupid Dead of Night thing at the beginning, meaning that either these 2 are the same company, or one just completely copied the other. Overall then, I really had fun with this one. I'd say it's a really good example of a low-budget sci-fi horror film, and was surprisingly entertaining. Again though, it is let down by the print, but the film itself is definitely worth checking out. The film gets my recommendation, but the DVD does not.